Good morning, you guys. It is Friday, and we are now just starting our Memorial Day weekend. Here's to you. I hope that you have an awesome, safe Memorial Day weekend. And I've got a treat for you. I put a video together of a tree that I created about a year ago this time. And it was a practice tree for me. It turned out awesome. I hope that you guys enjoy this one. Whatever your plans are for today, enjoy that beverage, be safe, and enjoy. In the beginning, I started out with two rolls of 22 gauge floral wire. You could see that in the beginning, it was all wrapped. Then I folded one roll that it was 1/3 and then 2/3 and started creating the root system. The other spool of 22 gauge floral green wire I started to wrap around the trunk system, laying each strand of wire right next to the one that I have already twisted around the trunk system. Okay, twist it, keep it tight, and when you're satisfied with the height, then tuck that one wire in and you're working on the crown of the tree. Okay, here we are at the top of the crown with this practice tree that I'm working on, and I decided to use 3 sets of 2 loops. I use the peridot green for 1 set. There's 2 strands in each, and then 2 strands of green for each set. And as you can see, I have 2 sets of green loops. This was with the permanently colored wire, with the peridot in the middle and the green on each end. I'm matching up the loops to keep them all together. Okay, now that I have them all together and they're matched up, putting them onto the crown of the tree. Because this was a 22 gauge wire, you can see I've got 4 strands on each side of my V. I'm taking my loops, getting them into the V, and twisting all 3 sets of loops around that 22 gauge wire, and I'm using all 4 strands to twist them in, twist them nice and tight. For this tree, I had to make sure my loops were really, really tight, but getting in between each one of those spaces of the loops and twisting them down nice and tight, and then trying to keep the loops all going into one direction. This was a little bit harder because you're working with so much wire at one time, but getting that wire in between the spaces of the loops is really what I was working on to get the effect that I wanted. So the loops are nice and tight, they're very close to each other, and they're all in the same direction. Well, there you go, guys. All that wire, all on one branch. 22 gauge green and peridot, 12 feet of wire just on that one branch. Now that I've added all of my wire onto the top of the crown, yep, it's ready for the clippers. So, when I say the wire needs to be tight, this is my reason for it. Every single loop on the crown of this tree will be clipped. Okay, let's get started. Here you might see me clipping 2 loops at a time. Yes, I'm only cutting each loop once because I want to pull all of this wire down into one direction. Now that all my loops have been cut, I'm using my needle nose pliers and I'm going to pull every strand so that it goes in one direction. So pulling it out and pulling down. I am going to go into time lapse. You know, in real life, when you're creating trees, I wish time lapse worked in reality. But here I am, almost complete with pulling out those loops, making them nice and straight, keeping all of my strands going in one direction. Okay, the finished tree. I used a quartz base, flowers and flowers and shells at the bottom for this ponytail palm. Practice tree, 12 feet of wire on each branch. That turned out, I thought it turned out really cool. And I decided to call it what did I decide to call it? Oh, yeah. Duh, the ponytail palm. But I didn't share with you what I used as far as the base. So I used a quartz candle holder and to insert the palm tree into the candle holder, you saw that I had some of the root system on the top, but to insert it, I used a couple anchors and I used flex shot and sand mixture, and I put the palm tree into that and then surrounded it with pink dogwoods. I made some loops and made tall grass, short grass, put that in there, used some shells and used the flex shot to hold all of that together. Hey guys, I hope that you're having an awesome day. I wanted to show this to you for a special reason. It is Memorial Day weekend. Have an awesome, safe weekend, and we'll talk soon.